Hey Brendon, I'm Andre. I'm just going to quickly show you what I've done so far and what still needs to happen. I have tested the mechanics and the stuff. There are a few changes that I've made. That's why I'm waiting for my stepper motors. I've changed the design a bit. This is version 2 of the prototype. But let's get down to business and I'll explain to you. So this is a very rough first prototype. Uh, This is a NEMA 17 that I pirated off my 3D printer because I did run it at first with NEMA 8s, but the torque and the stuff is not enough. So I've upped everything now to NEMA 14s for a bit more torque and to get the stuff going. So basically, this is gonna be mounted on a drone to do darting with game animals and what have you. This is not something that I'd like advertised, obviously. So I'm sure you understand. Uh, Basically, what happens? The barrels here. We've got 6 barrels just for what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, so that if you do miss or if you do need to dart more than one animal at a time, that you don't need to return to base with the drone, reload, etc., etc. So I might change the design later on if I can figure out a mechanism, a magazine mechanism. Problem with the magazine mechanism is that the darts are not always of a uniform size, and because it's pneumatically driven, pneumatically fired, you've got a problem with the sealing and the escape of gases and all that. So, like I said, this thing is running. It's not complete as it is here. Usually, there's a spring there that pushes the whole barrel assembly back into that little seat there, which has got an O-ring. I've redesigned that as well, so there's got a little nipple with an O-ring that fits inside the barrel there. So that pushes it back with a pretty strong spring to keep the seal there. Um, so this actuator, I'm running this off an Arduino, so I've coded. It's not connected now, so I can't. I'm not gonna bother connecting it. You'll get the picture. So this little actuator here pushes it forward by about 12 millimeters. Then this stepper, this stepper will rotate the barrel assembly, and then it releases again, pushed back by the spring. Uh, that's the outlet there. My solenoid that controls the pneumatics and triggers the pneumatics will sit here uh, on the next design. I'm actually receiving the new parts today. Water jet cut. I've cut down on the weight a bit, but that's basically it. So it pushes forward, turns back to the next barrel, fires, uh, etc., etc. I will later. I'll not spend too much time with the coding, but because your barrels will be preloaded, you'll be able to select barrel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whichever load you need, and that will it will then turn to, let's say, barrel 3, and when you hit the trigger, it will fire. This whole thing will be mounted on a gimbal for aiming purposes, stability, whatever. Uh, in, in practice, the darting will happen at 30 meters at most. So um, it's not a long ways to go, a long ways to shoot. The barrels will be a bit longer, a bit thicker. Like I said, this is just a prototype. Now, the idea with the camera that we spoke about earlier is that it sits there. I'll just print a part or machine a part there on which this will be bigger as well, the circumference of this thing, the diameter. So I want, because as you can see, even when this revolves, this is stationary. uh, so I want a camera board that can sit on here. uh, I'll just do a reticule on the camera, on screen, just an overlay for aiming purposes, and this camera will be uh, will be adjustable, like with a 3D printer's bed, those little springs and maybe three or four screws or whatever you want to call it, bolts, just for calibrating. Uh, this is a hollow pipe that I use for the axle, for the, you understand what I'm saying? So my wires and everything will feed through there to the transmitter, um, and that's basically what I want. I want uh, I want to send live feed from this camera that should be mounted here uh, to my base station, which should be set up, I would say, at most 3.5 kilometers from where the drone is. And yeah, so if you now you've got I think you've got a proper idea of what I want to do. So if you could maybe give me some advice and maybe make a few suggestions. Like you said earlier, I want a cost-effective way to prototype. Uh, it is expensive to machine all these parts and what have you. So where I can cut costs, I'd like to. Later on, if the proof of concept is fine and I've fine-tuned everything, then I can go forward and go for more expensive, in other words, quality parts. And thanks. I hope I hear from you soon. Thanks, Brendon.